Hello, and welcome to another episode of our StaTech Industry Modpack playthrough. Hope today's going swell and well for you so far. As for me, you could say it's been a walk in the park. Perhaps with a cat, because it's a catwalk. Not my best one. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive into another episode. So yeah, we've done a bit of expansion on the catwalk, and this is kind of the idea that I had whenever I said I want things to look more industrial. Having catwalks go across the entire base is kind of just that. Eventually, this quarry space here will turn into a building, but we kind of got to reconfigure the size of it a little bit, and I've been going back and forth with it, so we'll see where it ends up ultimately. Hold on. Sorry about that. Wife called. You know, I could just send a text, but I don't ever want to not answer and then it be something and it's like, oh, I didn't answer. Any hoosers. Yeah, so we've done a bit more base decorating. We have got lubricant fully backed up and all that kind of stuff now, so that's good to go. I've added a bit more create into the world, not because we needed it, because this can certainly be done without it. Just because, again, I want the base to look more like a factory. So the create stuff here does nothing except for add aesthetically and automate our coke and creosote kind of stuff. So I'll go over this real quick, but just know that I'm going to explain a way that is much easier if you don't want to use create. So essentially what we have here is a smart shoot, and this will come into play later on, and maybe we should explain it over here first because this is kind of a more pertinent problem with the smart shoot, or one that we had previously that I've since found the answer to. So yeah, the smart shoot from create, goodness me, sorry I blinked, is the way that you can filter by specifically 8 items, obviously, as you see here. And I'll explain why I have this ore being voided and we're actually not using it, because it kind of seems a little silly. But anyways, the smart shoot, you can set it specifically for an amount. You can see click and hold for amount. So if we right click and hold, we can set exactly at equal to 8. And the filter in there is what allows us to select all the multiple items here. So let me see if I have a filter in the system. I don't. How much do they cost to make? If it's not too much, I don't mind just making another one. Okay, yeah. So the filter looks like this, and it's made by making iron nuggets and wool. Doesn't have to be the patterned wool, it can just be normal wool. You can hold shift and it'll tell you basically a little description on it. And when you right click, here's the filter. You can shift and click things in. You can drag and click things in. Down here, there's allow and deny. It starts out on allow, and respect or ignore NBT data. So it works just as most filters would. You can clear it by clicking the trash can, check to save your settings. So if I do drill, come back in here, there's drill. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Once you have your filter on, you right click it into the slot, hold right click to set the amount, and you're good to go. And put the chute down into some kind of inventory, obviously, so that way it can be transferred out, because the chute will literally drop the items into the world. So you want to be, you know, catching them somehow. I find a chest works best since there's 10 different items here. I don't want to have to add 10 more drawers down below, especially since this is just kind of like a catch-all, and the buffers that only hold one item only hold one item, so it doesn't really work, right? Anyways, it's been working wonders. Everything runs through automatically from the quarry over into the storage system, which it stays there until it hits 8. So like copper, whenever we mine one more, it will send it through. Macerator to furnace, everything's pretty much still the same. However, we have added the copper drill, which I'll show out here. You may have already noticed it. but you can actually double up on your quarry as well. Just like all your other multi-blocks, you can share sides. Yeah, this guy got beat up a little bit. Similar to how we have these all connected, we can connect our quarry and save, you know, this whole line of materials, all the steel pipe machine casings, all the steel machine casings. We can basically reuse them. And this works as long as you have enough room for all of your outputs, which obviously we do here. So, yep, copper drill, which it appears that it's already ran through all of them again, which I really don't understand because the copper drill is only, 10%. I thought it was 2%. So what's the 4%? Oh, that makes so much more sense. I don't know why this has such a higher percent chance to break. I mean, I get that it's cheaper to make, but it's also like the stuff you're getting out of it is extremely useless, kind of. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, 1 for copper, 1 for bronze. However, if I wanted to, I could set them both up for bronze because they are going both through the same system and just being filtered down below. Speaking of down below has become more spaghetti. I don't know that I'm going to fix this at any point because at this point it's become a little too much. But essentially the way that we're filtering from the drills is this obviously goes into a drawer access point, so anything not within the drawers won't go in there. Similarly, here we just have 2 4x4 drawers or 2x2 drawers, however you want to say that there. 4 item slot drawers, holding them locked, and so the items go in and then get shifted over to our storage system. Furthermore, we've set up a large steam boiler, which I'll get into how and why the redstone link is there slapped on the front so you can hardly tell when it's on or off. And then of course we got into some actual energy production. All of this happened from, and I've condensed down all of this because you guys will, I assume the comments will be correct in saying, Chance, just use the wrench and shift right click and then set to auto extract, because that's all you got to do really. But yeah, a lot of stuff to catch up on here. I'm not going to spend too long in the catch up because I do kind of want to get into some building today. We need to build a little platform back here for some EBFs, some electric blast furnaces, as that is where we are currently moving toward in the quest pack. So taking a look at what we've done in the quest pack on chapter 3, we got to the basic machine hull. I made the LV steam turbine. Obviously you're going to need some cables in order to like power and all that kind of stuff, and cables kind of comes up in another quest from earlier, so it is kind of a repeat. But then since then we've branched out and made the photosynthetic chamber, which allows us to grow sugarcane, polarizer, which I'll explain in a minute, an electric compressor, electric furnace, alloy smelter, electric macerator. And I will go ahead and tell you that the smelter, the furnace, the macerator, and the compressor was all made in the pursuit of upgrading our backpacks. Yeah, it's a little silly, but we do have the gilded backpack now, which is a lot more room, so that's really nice for us. And I kind of got lost in trying to get to the next tier, trying to get to this bejeweled backpack, because I was like, okay, diamond plate, emerald plate, that's not too shabby. How do we do this? Oh, compressor, diamond compressor. Okay, it has to be an electric compressor. So I went down the route, made the electric compressor. Come back to find out, oh, right, we need upgrades in the electric compressor. We're not going to get into polyethylene today because that is still a little bit ways away. But these basic upgrades are going to come in handy. And so if you ever see something like this in one of your machines, it just means that you need an upgrade. And it'll tell you how much of an upgrade, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, you need an upgrade in the machine. So even though we have the electric compressor over here, I can't put a diamond in and get a plate out. So some of this was kind of built unneededly, right? Like I was making the macerator and the compressor to try to get to something that I can't even get to yet. But the other stuff is kind of good. The electric furnace, it just burns stuff faster. And the alloy smelter was needed to make the iron for the first backpack upgrade. So if you come back in here, the refined iron ingot, you can get this by combining calcite and iron ingots in an alloy smelter. And I'm not going to go too deep into all the crafting recipes because they're all pretty simple. We'll get into Kerpo nickel wires today because we'll need it for the electric blast furnace, so I'm not too worried about that. Just follow crafting recipes pretty much as they set up. They're going to get complicated, and you know, just make sure you're reading stuff. So calcite dust can be made from the electric macerator. The easiest way that I've found to do this is either with limestone, which obviously we found a lot in the world, or you can also buy calcite from the miner villager. So if we come over here, done a little bit of work on this building. I need to get some lights in. This is the miner with the mining bench. Right click, here's calcite. So pretty easy to get if you have villagers. Yeah, then refined iron ingot is just putting calcite dust and iron into a alloy smelter. Smelter, goodness me. And then of course you turn this into, you know, refined iron plates, and then you surround your backpack to upgrade it. So necessary? No. Nice? Yes. As far as the steam turbine goes, again, just follow the crafting recipes, but essentially what this does is give you your first input into actual power, not using steam for power, but energy, EU energy. And as far as the Tech Reborn stuff goes, it's going to use, I thought we had some Tech Reborn stuff, but I guess not. But the Tech Reborn energy power level, if you get over here into the rolling machine and the greenhouse controller, they say E for energy, and obviously modern industrialization is EU. They convert at a 1-to-1 scale, so it doesn't matter. Just think of it as EU for all intents and purposes. But it does mean power, you know, energy, not steam, okay? So yeah, you put steam into a steam turbine, obviously, and boom, you got power. So all this is being powered from this one steam turbine. We're just simply not using any of it. Like, the only thing that's actually running is the photosynthetic chamber, and realistically with 1,000 sugarcane we're probably going to turn it off here soon because it is using pretty much the full extent of the power. This thing will produce, I believe, 32 EU per tick, and this is obviously using 32 EU per tick. You can see there it says current consumption and max overclock, all that kind of stuff. So the way that the machines, the actual electric machines, work in modern industrialization is typically the longer they run, the higher they overclock. So basically the more efficient they get. Efficiency? However you want to say that. So if you look at the top, it says 6464 efficiency, which just basically means this machine has been running for quite some time. It's overclocked at ×4, so it's running 4 times faster than it would otherwise. Like whenever you first put sugarcane in, it's going to run 4 times slower than this. And then it'll tell you consumption information there, as you can obviously see. So most of it's pretty self-explanatory, which is one of the reasons that I really enjoy modern industrialization. Is it's very intuitive. It's not too complicated. It doesn't dive too much into the weeds, but it does get complex. But I've realized it's kind of like when someone first tells you that eventually you will be multiplying fractions, right? As a kid, you're like, yeah, I don't know. That's like a lot of numbers going on. And then whenever they tell you about decimals, you're like, yeah, fuck that. But as you get older and math gets explained and built upon, you're like, oh, okay, it's just literally the same thing as before. I'm just multiplying one number into another, but I'm just doing more of it. You know, that's basically modern industrialization. It's just multiplying fractions. It's not that difficult, but you can get caught in the weeds if you don't start out with basic math, you know. So we're still in the basic part. Don't fret and worry. Yeah, we're getting into like adding and dividing now, and multiplication a little bit maybe. I don't. Maybe the analogy has gone too far. All right, and I'm rambling a bit. So long story short, let's get into the bronze-plated big old large steam boiler over here and why we have the redstone link, because I think this is going to be most helpful to most of you. I assume that you can follow the tutorial and get to this point, otherwise you wouldn't still be watching the series, correct? And this may be the wrong assumption, whatever. But like I said in the beginning of the series, I can't handhold through the entirety of this, otherwise we'll never get through it. So, but I can give useful hints and tips, and that's kind of what I like to do in my playthroughs. Redstone control module. This is going to be your best friend when it comes to the large steam boiler. If you remember reading from the quest book, it's going to tell you how the large steam boiler just constantly runs. So it's going to eat through creosote, and it's going to eat through coke dust, which, you know, isn't ideal because this stuff is kind of slow to make. So you have two options. You can make excessive amounts of it, or you can use a redstone control module, which if you hold shift on it, or if you read in the quest book, insert it into a machine to enable redstone control. So essentially, when this thing has redstone powering it, when it has a signal, it's going to turn off. When it doesn't have a signal, it's going to turn on. Hence why you keep seeing this light turn on and this light turn off. This light turn on, this light turn off, and vice versa. Now, the way this all works, it's a little ugly right now, but it's that way for a reason. I have a buffer, a steel tank of steam coming out of the back, right? So bronze fluid output into a steam tank. And then basically the steam tank is hooked up to our entire system. So this is powering everything everywhere. Alongside a couple of steel boilers over there, but I can show you that in a second. So essentially the comparator is reading how much steam is in the tank. When it's full, it will send, 15 redstone power down the line. And you can read the power level on each redstone block, right? So here we're down to 2. Technically, 1 goes out to here or here maybe. But we stopped it here because I don't want it to actually fill up the entire tank. I want to have a little bit of leeway, so that way we're not ever burning any in here. Sorry about that. So yeah, basically this is just a storage buffer and a good way of making sure your system isn't constantly burning through power. So steam goes in, redstone comparator comes down, goes into a redstone link. This side's on a sender. If you shift right click, now it's on receiver. Obviously the side that it is receiving redstone power, you want to be on a sender. These two just act as filters. So if you want to have multiple redstone links set up, I could throw in an item pipe here, and then it'll only connect to other ones that have the exact same symbol in each slot. Obviously having 2 slots allows you to have like a ton of these, just an insane number of these with the amount of Minecraft item differential pairs you could have there, right? It's like basically infinite. So comparator goes into a link, and the link receiver is over here just slapped to the face of it. So essentially when we need power, this thing turns on, it burns. When we don't need power, it will turn off. Except for right now, which seems to be broken, maybe? Broken, gone. That's working. This is receiving power. Which means that this whole thing should be turned off, but it's turned on for some reason. Let me try breaking this. I broke it in trying to make it work. Yeah, why is this not frequency? Try setting a frequency, I guess. Put that one there. Maybe whenever I set it and then broke it, it kind of went a little funny. No, that's still not receiving power. Why is this one not receiving power now? Receiver. Power. Okay, so this is, there we go. I guess be careful with that. Good thing to see on camera. Sometimes you just got to break and replace. It's kind of like the old IT solution, Did you try turning it off and turning it back on? Sometimes it really is just as simple as break and replace. So yeah, I'm not going to go through all of everything here today. The main things to take away: the photosynthetic chamber allows you to auto grow plants. You just need to insert water. So we have fluid pipe coming up from water that's also pumping water into the large steam boiler. The way that the boiler works is it takes in coke and it takes in creosote. Coke, creosote. Burns it, produces a lot of steam, and that steam can obviously be turned into electricity. The steam it produces is like 256 EU per tick or something like that worth. So for frame of reference, a steel boiler I think does 16 EU per tick. This does 256, so like for like 16 times as much or something like that. I don't know what the actual number is. Look, I've gotten old, all right? I don't have to do multiplication. Anyway, sorry, it's funny to me because we were just talking about needing to do multiplication for the pack and everything. But anyways, storage buffer, fluid, all that kind of stuff works just as you would think it would. Just get some water into your photosynthetic chamber. And that's pretty much everything over here. Basically, your electric machines are going to run faster than your steel ones, and your steel ones run faster than your bronze ones. So the goal is to get to electric machines sooner rather than later. Now, each LV steam turbine does use up about 32 EU per tick of steam, and it turns it directly into 32 EU energy per tick. You know what I'm saying? You get 32 steam millibuckets per tick, and you burn in whatever. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So we could technically have, what, 2 makes 64, and is it 4 times 64 makes 256, I think? So we could have like 8 LV steam turbines being powered off this one boiler, which is pretty nice. And I do plan on having 2 boilers. We have enough room here, so why not? You know, that'll give us 512 to work with, and early on, that should do pretty well, pretty swell and well. So that's where we're at currently in the quest book, and again, we do spend episodes where I deep dive on things. Sometimes I just don't really want to. So now that that's been explained, the create mechanism is pretty much as you would expect. We have a basic inventory hopper set to coal dust from our system, right? So this comes down, the inventory connects up with everything over there. So it's pulling from all of the coal that gets produced off of the quarry. So it's all automated. It's slow moving. It drops 4 pieces because we have 4 of these little coke ovens, right? And you can do this much simpler if you just put same thing. You'll want to downgrade your drawer so that way it doesn't pull all your coal dust out of your system. Otherwise, you can't use it for other crafting recipes. So I do recommend making the downgrade from extended drawers. But then you could just use item pipes if you want to, the same way we've done with everything else. You know, these will work just as well, if not much better than this whole setup. But again, I wanted things to look a bit more mechanical. So simply put, it's running coal dust in, and as the coke gets produced, it lands on this little conveyor belt, which goes into a chute, which just puts it back into the system over there. Essentially, there's another like item hopper thing down in there, and that's it. So it looks really cool, but it is overly complicated and complex for what we're actually doing. And again, if you wanted to automate this with pipes, you can literally just hook an item pipe up to each one of these, hook them together, and send it back into your system. So are we overcomplicating things? Yes. Does the base look better because of it? Absolutely. So, you know, you do whatever you want to do. Hopefully I did not send any of these pipes down into the system because that will back the entire thing up, which I do actually have it turned off right now, but that's just because, I mean, we're full up on creosote here. We are running a bit low in the creosote that actually gets pumped and transferred over to, oh yeah, it's actually empty. The creosote that gets pumped over to the machine, but we have a ton of coke dust, so the large steam boiler will run off creosote or coke dust, or both of them together. So one or the other, or both. So it's not a huge ordeal, and we have like 1,200 coke dust made up, so like I'm really not worried about running out of it right now. And if that tells you how long I've been playing for roughly, so you take, you know, 1,200 divided by 4, whatever that time would take, because we have 4 ovens. And obviously some of that took from before, but still. Oh, more steel. Steel. Get it? Anyways. Sorry, I know my brain goes a bit scattered during these episodes because I'm always like, well, what have and haven't I shown off, and what is and isn't important, right? Because some things need to be shown off, some things are kind of you can understand just by looking, like the crafting terminal. Okay, obviously I got another inventory cable connector and just threw another crafting terminal up over here. I do want to accept all of our rewards on camera because that is something I do like to do for anything that I may have got. Ooh, another LV steam turbine. That's nice. An electric cutting machine, an electric macerator. That would have been nice to have gotten before. Auto crafting table is really good. Hose pulley from Create. This, if we can go into the Nether and find a lava lake large enough, can give us infinite lava once we get the ability to transport fluids interdimensionally. Copper drills, cloud in a bottle, brass funnel, sorry, not a tunnel, funnel. A lot of really good stuff. A plated backpack, that feels like a swift kick somewhere, I'm not gonna lie. A bronze boiler, I probably won't be using that, and so many items just floating around me. Okay. Diamond twin blade, we can throw that in there. Actually, let's throw all this in our backpack so I can fully examine it, hopefully. There we go. Oh no, there's still more stuff. Is that everything? Okay. So an iron chest from iron chest, steel water pump, 2 LV steam turbines. That's really, really nice. Not having to make these things because they're not exactly cheap on resources. Heck yeah. We gotta redo all this. This is a bit of a mess right now. Don't worry about it. We will get there. So I'm gonna leave those in the backpack. Decreases the time it takes to drink drinkable items. I don't really drink drinkable items, and I like my current hat. I don't know, does it overlap? Can I have 2 hats on? I guess we'll see. Let's see what else we got. Chutes, that's fine. Hose pulley, I just mentioned what we'll be using that for. Electric cutting machine is really nice. Just means we can burn through that a little bit faster. Netherite great hammer. Okay, sure. I assume that does a lot of damage. Fluid valve, silicone dust. We're gonna have to make some of this anyways, so the fact that they're giving us some is kind of nice. We got another netherite great hammer. Interesting. A lot of rare static coins. Clay, electric macerator, auto crafting table is really nice. I've not decided if I'm going to go the Tech Reborn auto crafting, the assembler, or create, you know, just spinning things around on a little wheel. Gearbox, more coins, analog circuits, steel machine casings is pretty nice. 8 blocks of iron is so-so. Brass funnels, some steel upgrades are nice. Item pipes I probably won't use. A ton of static coins, just a ton. Another backpack, probably leave on us. Tree tap, that's a little... Applies an extra level of looting to killed entities. I definitely want that hat on. So now I'm just... My hats are so ridiculous. Helium Flamingo allows the wearer to swim in the air for a limited period of time. Left control while in the air to start swimming. No kidding. Hold on. That it's a little wonky. Oh yeah. Oh, this is cool. I'm just holding down spacebar. Okay, so it lasts for a little bit of time though, and with our boots, I mean, honestly, we might be able to get infinite flight off that. Let's see. Okay, I see the little flamingo thing down there too. So yeah, let's go ha. Oh, but it has to recharge. Okay, I see. Interesting. I do like these little, what is it from the artifacts? Artifacts mod. Cloud in a bottle allows the wearer to double jump. Oh, that is nice. Coupled with like how fast we already run, just being able to like give ourselves that extra boost. Wow. All right. Cables, resistors, glowberry custard, random foods, and that's about it. So cool. Kind of some random junk and kind of some upgrades to our character. Put all this in there. I'd rather just throw it all in there for now, and we'll sort through it later. Later. I guess complete some quests for us too, huh? That's kind of nice, because then it kind of feeds back into the loop. Whoops, did not mean to send all that there. There. And then let me grab my pipes back out of here. Just half of them will be fine. Cool. All right, so moving onward and forward. And again, we've talked about everything that you need to make the basic machine whole. We went through the redstone and the battery alloy and all that stuff last time. So I'm not too concerned with going deeper into this and you just needing to read up a bit, because that's going to be the case for a lot of this, right? And I'll try to explain how my systems work specifically, but I can't explain every single piece of every single recipe. So do understand that moving forward, this will be less of a hand-holding, more of an example showing. If you need assistance with anything, by all means, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer, in any way possible. Anyways, half the video spent on that. Let's go into the assembler. That's what we're actually going to be building today, and one thing I cannot recommend enough when it comes to getting into these kind of builds is to make a lot of the base technical pieces. So we're going to need a lot of motors. So let's just go ahead and make let's make 8 of them. And I've already started making the assembler, so you can see I actually already have the robot arm, the conveyor. I have everything completed. The only thing I really need to do is make some of these redstone batteries. But yeah, like if you're gonna make something, make an excessive amount. Honestly, 8 motors, nowhere near enough. Oh, hold on. Thought we had enough to make everything. What? Why does it tell me I have enough and then... Did I use some of them? Maybe it's like reading... There's no way I used some of them. All right, so we'll just keep on keeping on then here. And we'll trudge through making the rest of it. I thought I'd made the entirety of it. Maybe I made it and put it somewhere. But this wouldn't be telling me that I had all the items if I didn't, right? Or maybe it's bugging out, doing a little bug thing. Analog circuits are going to be very, very useful. So again, all this stuff you just want to make sure you have lots and lots and lots of. And if you don't have lots and lots and lots of it, at least that you have the materials to make lots and lots and lots of it. So our current setup, we do have all this kind of the same where it outputs to the barrel. But now below the barrel, I also have basic inventory hoppers, which just allows everything that... Well, that was a weird bit of lag. Everything that gets processed down and through automatically goes into our system here, which obviously makes things a bit easier when it comes to needing to multi-craft large amounts of stuff. All right, so that should be all the robot arms. Correct. Now we just need one more conveyor on here. There we are. And bada bing, bada boom. Avengers Assemble. Like that achievement. We are running out of open cabling. Let's see here. There. Cool beans. So we have the assembler. Now we need to get the Kerpo nickel coil. This is going to go into the actual assembly of the electric blast furnace. So to make 16 of these, we need 8 of the cables, and you just put that into an assembler. No fluids or anything needed. You just have to wait for 10 seconds. So if I take out my handy dandy little crafting calculator here, we can take and see to make 16 of these coils, we need 65 plates plus 258 rubber sheets. I'm not too concerned with the rubber sheets. I think we have plenty. Let me see. Yeah, we're sitting at 1,200. And again, that's just coming off the rubber tree farms, because it just makes a ton. Anything that runs passive, you're pretty much good to go. The whole goal is to make as many things. What is going on here? What is this? Oh, it's the flamingo head. Okay, that really doesn't look right whenever you lay down to go to sleep. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, just with the angling of the flamingo from your body and what you see, maybe it wants to be redesigned a little bit. It's all that I'm saying. So yeah, we're gonna need a lot of these cables, and Kerpo nickel, pretty much as the name implies, it is copper and nickel. So if you come here, nickel, copper, combine it, dust, smelt it, same as everything else. Now we've already gotten some of the wiring done, so we really just need to put a bit more of the ingots through the mill here. And you know what? I probably should have put them into the electric compressor, because that would have run them through a bit faster. And we may also have some being crafted up back over in the original sort of steam setup room. I still use this a little bit. Obviously, it has a lot of steel boilers that I've upgraded from the bronze ones. Okay, yeah, we have some being smelted here. And some leftover bronze as well. And we can still use this one. There we are. Excellent. So let's get into actually crafting these up then. And we've also done, you know, obviously there's a bit of aesthetic works with the statues and pillars and whatnot. So we're trying to get there as far as making the space a bit more well-rounded, because again, we'll probably be within this space for quite some time. All right, so how many wires, how many cables do I actually need for this? Can I... 129. Hope that's correct. All right, so 64, or I guess 63 plus 63 is what, 126? You need 129. So we ran out of wiring there. We should have more plates, which I can then go send through the wire mill, get away from it because it sounds horrible, and then just give that a little bit of time. While that is working though, we might as well, throw these and that in there and let the assembler process through. You know what? While I'm doing this, this might be a good time to actually come down into this quest here. Steel mallet. Your machines might be too noisy for your liking. If you want to silence them, you can craft a steel mallet and right-click to silence, unsilence them. Let me see if I can make this real quick. Yeah. Beautiful. I like the sound of the assembler. Kind of sounds like a steam puff, or like somebody's working with some wool or something. Like it sounds nice. That is horrible. That is horrible. All right, so oh man, I really shouldn't have thrown all those in there, because now I don't know how much I made. It's all right. We're gonna end up making 2 of them anyways. So let's just make some variable amount more, right? Like 42. That's a odd spot. Throw those in. We'll see how much we get back out. We are going to need some of the wiring, though. Let me see how much more of the stuff we have. 96. Let's go and throw a whole stack. I guess we don't want to throw it into the compressor right now since I'm only using one of those. We'll just throw a whole stack over here because we don't need it immediately, but we will need it in the future. So that's going to come up to 10. We only need 6 more. I think we have enough there for that. All right, so following that, we're going to need a whole lot of Invar. Did I happen to get Invar rocking and rolling processed through over here? We shall see. I was pretty sure I sent it in. Did it already get processed and spent out? Or did I never process it in the first place? Let's see. Invar. Oh, I never processed it in the first place. Okay, or maybe I did. Hold on. Did I end up adding a second mixer? Sometimes I think about things that I want to do in this world, and then it kind of bleeds into... Yes. Yes! Yeah, and then it, you know, it kind of bleeds into what have I done versus what did I think that I wanted to do, but then never actually did. I'm sure that that's relatable. I'm not the only person that thinks I want to do this, and then you think that you did it, but you didn't really, but you kind of convinced yourself that you did. I guess we could throw some of this in here, right? All right. And then the nickel can go back in there. All right. So that's chugging along. We do have the cables completed. Now we're going to need the electric blast furnace itself. Couple of item inputs, item outputs, obviously. We're going to need energy input, and we're going to need some heat-proof casing, which is where all the Invar comes from. So if we need 14 of these, this is 8 here. How many does this take? 4, 2, half of 1. So like 6.5 to make this. And this is 8, so 14.5 to make 1. We need 14. 14.5 times 14. Where are we at with the calculator? 14. 203? Is that what we need? 203 Invar? Well, I just had 4 stacks. That's not enough, right? Oh, yeah, it is. More than enough. We just have to make sure we smelt it all down. I think it was 4 stacks, or was it 3? Because one of them was a stack of nickel. You know what? We'll just get some more processing. It's not a huge deal. We're gonna need more of it in the future anyways. When in doubt, make more rather than less. That should suit you pretty well throughout modern industrialization, regtech, most of life. And so yeah, this is basically what the pack is. Some people are like, oh, this is kind of a boring episode. You didn't make a whole lot of progress. It's yeah. You move slow in these things. Till we get towards the end. Once we get applied energistics, things will move a bit faster, but I am a little hesitant to set up some forms of automation, given I know when we get to that point, it's going to be much better. And I'm going to thank myself for not having run Tom's storage miles wide. That's what I'm really worried about, is needing to go back and redo all of Tom's simple storage to replace it with applied energistics too. So that's it's kind of what the beast we're working against here, trying to upgrade the base without using Tom's storage too much. But obviously, I'm kind of getting wrapped up in it. All right, so we're gonna need 14 of those. We're gonna need this thing, the electric blast furnace. So the magnetic wiring, same thing as everything. You just throw it into the polarizer, and the polarizer is, you know, there you go. So we need 7 of those. We need a basic machine hole, and we need a blast furnace. Do I already have? I do already have 6. How many did it say I needed? 7? Why did I make 6 of these? Or maybe I was given 6 from a quest reward. Goodness me. We're going to need some bauxite later. That's why I have that there. If we're lucky enough to move through everything quick enough today, we'll get into why. And if not, then, you know, maybe next time. All right, so Invar, we're going to need a whole lot of that processed through. Let's see what we're sitting at currently. We have 51 5 rings and all that. Let's go ahead and get some of this processed into the other stuff. So let's take... what is... Let's see, that's that, that's that. And 8. That should make 32 in there. As far as the rings, we'll throw 16 in there. And the rest can go back in there. All right. So, that. I think today what I want to do for the rest of the time is build the area where the electric blast furnaces are going to go. Just don't do too much building on camera. And we probably won't build up the entirety of it because obviously I'm a very slow builder and very quick to sort of go back and forth on changing my mind as far as I want this, I want that, I want to leave it open until I figure out exactly what I want, and so on and so forth. But I do know that I want them kind of sitting out back behind the factory, almost like a large shed, but obviously very industrial-esque. Yeah, see what I mean? The flamingo, it just doesn't look good. I have to start taking that off before I lay down to go to sleep every night. Which, I mean, to be fair, you shouldn't be sleeping in a whole floaty anyways, but, you know, don't judge me, all right? So, let's move on over here. Because I want it to be pretty easily routable from inside. So if we just clear out some of this. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to bring the path down here. Might be easiest actually if I like, yeah, kind of cut it out like this. I gotta quit sprinting because I move too fast. It gives me that like weird speed wobbly thing. Probably don't have any dirt on me, I would venture to guess, huh? I got a little bit. I guess just from what I mined there. Okay, should be good enough. So yeah, I want to have it come out and back around here. Probably to like, yeah, right in this area is what I'm thinking. Whenever I'm carving away from a hillside, I like to do it from the outside in to try and maintain some kind of curvature to it that looks semi-natural. So I'm not huge into terraforming and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do too many major adjustments, but just something that way it still looks kind of presentable. And again, we're going to have multiple of these blast furnaces, of these EBFs, as they oftentimes get shortened to. So I would like to have proper space for it. I think that should be good, right? Size of it at least. And since we have the copper drills running through, we should have plenty of building materials to choose from here. So I'm thinking maybe we try something with deep slate. Maybe tough. Maybe tough and deep slate. So let's see what we got. Obviously there's classic polished. Run it through the stone cutter. Herringbone. Not a huge fan of herringbone patterns. I don't know. Oh, what? Can you not put it into a chisel? Is this is cobbled deep slate? Okay, sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it has to be base deep slate. So let's see here. Can I put this into a chisel? Okay, all right. So that's, we'll just have to process it all down then. All right, so for our electric blast furnace area, what are we thinking? Kind of want it to be smooth-ish. Because the machines end up looking fairly complicated. All right, so yeah, let me just grab out a couple things of deep slate, I guess. Oh, we have actual normal deep slate here too. I bet you know what? That's just from us mining, huh? All right, let's put it. Oh, wait. The tough I do want to keep out. All right, so deep slate. Got a couple things of that. And then I think we're going to go with this sunken texture. Maybe some medium tiles too. See how we like that. All right, so we'll do. Nice thing is most multi-blocks are about 3 by 3 wide, so you can relatively safely estimate about how large of an area you're going to need. So like say if I want the blast furnaces, probably like right in here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Something like that. Right, because we'll end up combining them together. So let's just take some dirt and say that, because that is the area that our blast furnace will be in. Do I want to do... Oh, great, it's raining. Ooh, I do really like that. The sunken into the medium. I think that looks really nice. And then I typically like to give myself at least a 3 wide barrier on each side just to allow for cabling and maneuverability. So we'll leave it something like that. And if I need to build another one of these little EBF sort of storage sheds, we can do that in the future. How far out? I left 2 on the sides. Okay, that's fine. And then 3 on the front here. 2, 3. I realize I could have used the wand for this, but honestly, I end up building so much that the wands break, and then I'm like, well, that didn't really last me that long. So it just kind of feels like more of a pain in the ass sometimes to go make the wands for something this minute almost. Okay, so I really like this base platform here, something definitely strong to work with. And I think we'll probably do some like factory block style pillars. Let's see. I'm hungry. The eternal steak is so nice. I just don't have to worry about food at all. Not that I have to worry about it anyways, because the farm over there is obviously chopping up tons of potatoes and carrots and all that kind of stuff anyways. But it is still really rather nice. Okay, so we got that down. Let's look at factory blocks. We'll go ahead and make some of these. And then I found another thing that really works when trying to find factory style blocks is just typing in iron. So yeah, we have these like industrial iron pillars, these iron pillars from Ad Astra. Iron platings, which I think these turn into the iron pillars, yeah. That, I've kind of already used the industrial iron pillars before, but certainly doesn't hurt to see it in a new light. Cast iron blocks. These just become those. Oh, and they actually have pillars too. Fuck it. Why not see what it all looks like? Ooh, I would love to get some of these marked iron pillars, but that requires us to get some way of copying dye. Or these glowing iron pillars. Those look really nice. Okay. Gonna have to find a way to get that up and going in the future. anyways, I think with what we have here, we probably have enough to kind of play test what we really want going on over here. So let's come and see what we're feeling, what looks good. All right, so that's from the industrial decor. Kind of like solid iron, you know what I mean? Like really thick, solid kind of stuff. This is from factory blocks, which don't get me wrong, not a bad little iron pillar there, but we might also, nice thing with factory block is we have all of these options too. So like kind of a lot. I thought those were gonna join together like the other ones did, but they didn't. I like this style of block, but I just feel like it'd be better, yeah, kind of set in the ground almost. That I kind of like, the lightness and the dark. Of course, this doesn't look bad either. I really want to like this pillar. Like I want to like it in my base, but the coloring and something about it just doesn't, like, always meshes too weirdly or something. I don't know what it is. Okay, so that's kind of what we're working with here. We also have, like I said, all the other factory blocks, so I guess we could try some of these. I like the chisel mods where you can actually see what the full block looks like laid out, just because I feel like it helps with my mind a little bit. See what these sturdy blocks look like. Oh, shit. That's kind of nice. That's kind of like industrial. Yeah, let's just go home. God damn it, the flamingo. And I guess this is just going to be a little bit of a longer episode because we're still going. But like I said, I wanted to get into some building stuff today. I've done a lot of building on this base, and I'm kind of getting proud of it. I did not build this tree, by the way. I just want to lay this out. I planted a sapling, a silver maple sapling, and this is what grew. And I've been very torn about whether I should destroy it and grow another one, because this has got to be one of the most hideous trees I've ever seen. It just looks a little funky with how big the base is for how little the top is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not sure. My only complaint with this one is if I was going to do that, I kind of would want to put one down in the ground. So yeah, it kind of gets cut off like that. But so far, I think of the combinations I like. You got to think about what the blast furnace is actually going to look like fully assembled. And I have a good idea of what it looks like fully assembled. So I'm trying to build something that complements it and doesn't detract from it. So I'm thinking the industrial iron pillars, I mean, honestly, it just looks so good. Problem is it costs coal. Coal is not something that I've been mass producing per se. Let's see. Is there anything else in here that I'm not? Segmented rusty plates. Interesting. Ooh. I'm not a huge fan of it. Let's see. Vent, small pipes, large pipes, rusty scaffold, circuit, rusty scaffold, grate, engineer pipes, exhaust, sturdy, extreme corroded panels, extremely rusted panels, smooth metal, sloppy plating, fans, gold-plated circuit. Ooh, that looks more of like a heat kind of output kind of thing. That does, I think that will go with this setup, but maybe more of like a something on the inside kind of framing the pieces. But I kind of want it to maintain the lines going across. So I'll probably do something like that. Both sides here. Shoot. Hey, I forgot I have double jump. I can just hop up. Okay. Well, now knowing that those are going to be on the side, how do I feel about this stuff? You know, I'm kind of coming around on the just base factory block. Wait, what's that other one right beside it? Factory block rusted, very rusted. Purple wireframe? I would not call that purple. I would not call that purple at all. All right, let's go back to the factory blocks. Knock these out. We'll throw these down. I'm kind of digging that setup. So let's push harder into that. So let's go with this. Take down the cast iron pillars. If this isn't your cup of tea, no problemo. I get it that building isn't for some, it is for others. But I think sometimes seeing someone's mental process when building a base is really nice. It gives you more insight into why, how, who, when, where, you know, all the basic questions you have as an inquisitive person. All right, so we're going to take this as kind of the base framework, right? As the base key elements, color schemes, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get our cables, our coils. We're going to see what all we can make up in here. So let's see. So we got those. Can I make this? No, I need a basic machine hole. So I need 2 of these. Oh. We'll just throw the rest in there. And then what else did I need? Oh no, that's it. Okay, so there's the basic machine hole. And a little bit of blast furnace smooth stone. Well, if I have regular stone, I can take the chisel and just auto make smooth stone. So that's really nice. Don't even have to smelt it or wait on anything. Blast furnace, boom. And that should give us the... Hold. Electric blast furnace, woo! All right, now the only thing we really need are the heat-proof machine casings, which is obviously going to cost us still a lot of Invar. Let's see. Here they are. I thought I had some of these somewhere. Oh, I have one. Okay. All right. How many do I need? I need 14. Let's see how many of these bad boys we can make up. So we're going to need 14 gears if we're going to make 14 of the other ones. That's a pretty good start. 3. All right, how much Invar do we have? We're actually all out, so we're going to need to find the Invar that I guess we smelted down somewhere. We put some over here. No, that has deep slate in it. There must be some back over in this section. And we may have put some, actually, you know what? Yeah, I think I know the places where we put it. Now that I'm using my noggin, should be some there. Should be some there. Oops. Put the tough away for a minute. And then, yeah, we basically just got to get this stuff smashed down into some plates. So we'll probably go ahead and just toss 2... Yeah, probably just go ahead and do 2 whole stacks of Invar. So let's do half in there, half in there, and a full stack in there. And let's put the rest of these decorating blocks away now that we kind of have the idea of how we want to build that area up. There's the cables, which I think we only need 16, right? We don't need 19, so that's nice. We'll need that. Then we're going to need an item input, item output, and power, right? So let's just do some basic item inputs and output. And I think power we're going to need to do something else with. So let's do this. Those two. Oh, whoops. Guess I made the gears, but I didn't actually make the casings. All right. Then we want one to be an output, one to be input. Then we will need an energy input. We're just going to use LV. So to make this, we'll need 10 cable and another basic machine hole. All right, so let's go here. We'll save that real quick. Then let's see. We just need more redstone batteries, basically. Those two. Let's go ahead and make some more 10 cables. I notice we're running a little low on that. And I'll put half in the system there. Basic machine hole. Good to go. LV energy input. Good to go. So there's all of our hatches. And we're basically just waiting on Invar to get smashed on down. There's that full stack. All right, so let's see how many of these bad boys we can make now. 15. How many did I say I need? Was it 14? 14, let's go. Okay, so that should be everything to make the EBF. Eternal stake. All right, let's go build this multi-block son of a gun out. So what I like to typically do is, okay, hold on, let me lay this back out with dirt. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. We don't have as much room as what I thought because I ended up building the walls in a little bit. Maybe. Maybe we pull these out one and we'll have the wall kind of popped out a bit. What is going on here? Why can I not jump? There we go. Kind of like that. Yeah, because that gives us our room back. All right, same thing over here. Oh wait, this one was already lined up properly. It was just the other one. Whoops. Okay, well that's fine then. Let's go home, take a snooze real quick. We'll go back and keep building. Mother, this flamingo, it's about to come off. I like the idea of being able to fly without having flight yet, but you know, this is pretty cool, albeit very, very slow. You never know when you could be falling into lava and then flamingo yourself right on along. Any users. So yeah, that's 2 on that side. So let's take the electric blast furnace. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Center point would be right here. And then let's take the wrench. And that's actually the correct level there. Knock that out. And let's see, it wants the heat-proof machine casings on the bottom. Let's go ahead and see where we can put the hatches, top or bottom. Okay. Let's think about this. So if the middle's going to be shared, we basically can't use this whole line here. If I'm going to pull power from over there, I think having energy Trying to think about, because I definitely want one here too. So how do I link it together for a good output? I guess we'll do both the inputs down below, and then I'll do the output up top. All right, so just following what it has here. Is the middle hollow? It appears to be, yes. Which would make sense because that means we need 8 for this layer, 8 for this layer. They do have a very nice texture. And this up top. And again, we'll want to do the output right there. Cool. So that should be electric blast furnace active. BEAUT full. And then yeah, we can share some of these coils in the middle and some of these heat-proof machine casings. So this whole little wall here we won't have to remake. And we'll be able to get a second one up and going. So then basically we'll just have to come in and under here and connect this over to the base noodly system. But I think we have run this video for long enough, ladies and gents. It's already going to be a very, very long video. So we're going to get into exactly why you need the EBF for those of you curious, and that may be close to my point. So you're going to input some power into here. You're going to input, you know, your actual 10 cables or whatever into your machine. And then you're going to throw in some bauxite. Bauxite is going to be found, this is the part that I actually wanted to explain because it may be a little confusing or you may have to look into it or whatever. Bauxite is how you're going to make aluminum. You can find aluminum, probably easier on the other map. You can find aluminum deposits in your world. So if I hover over here, you can see it says aluminum sample. However, whenever you go to dig it up, it's going to be bauxite. Just this orange stuff, which is, you know, whatever, but it can be a little confusing if you don't know that bauxite is aluminum. So you go for aluminum, you're going to mine up this stuff, which is bauxite, which you can then crush down pretty much the same as everything. 2 passes through a macerator will get you the bauxite dust, which you can then turn into an aluminum nugget. Or you can also combine the bauxite together into a block and put that through to get an aluminum ingot. So this is how we actually get to aluminum. And actually, let me see which is faster. So 32 takes 1 to 1, 10 seconds. Or if you turn it into this, it takes 100 seconds. So it takes 10 times as long, but it processes 9 items. So it's actually quicker to do the dust instead of the ingot. That's a little weird. That is a little weird. But yeah, so essentially you'll just take your bauxite in block form, in nugget form, whatever floats your goat there. You'll throw it in here, and just like all the other machines, it'll process it up and through and pop out aluminum up top. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed our little building bit here. Again, we'll go through and do the finer details towards the off-camera portion. But I wanted to build a little bit with you and kind of give you the framework that I tend to use when I'm building. So typically it goes, how big of an area will the machines take? How much area do I want around that machine to kind of work with? And then kind of fill in the blanks with what looks cool, what feels right, what tickles my fancy. So with my fancy fully tickled, I want to say thank you to everybody who has watched this episode and this series so far. I've been enjoying it, and it's been getting a bit more ridiculous with my clothing. That needs to be said just outright. No, but I have been enjoying it. I hope you have been as well. Of course, if you are enjoying the series, leaving a like on the video really does help with the algorithm to show it to more people so more people can watch and yada, yada, yada. And I think this is a really fantastic mod pack, so I do think it It should be spread and shared, even if it's not my series, just the ideaism of playing Modern Industrialization. I feel like more people need to play this kind of pack. It's not RegTech, so you don't have to be so scared of it, but it does get into some complexity. I would really like to see specifically like Chosen Architect play a Modern Industrialization styled pack. Maybe he has in the past. You know, I've not watched every single series, you know, down to a T, but if he hasn't, and you guys watch him, this would be a pretty good idea to lob his way. Maybe not specifically StaTech Industry, but there are other mod packs, obviously, moving forward that will definitely be created using this mod. Long story short, like the video, comment if you have any questions, tidbits that may be helpful to me or anyone else. Of course, subscribe if you're new here. You want to see more awesome content from yours truly. Share it out with friends, family, strangers down the street, random people you might meet. And as per the usual, I do hope you all stay safe, stay awesome, and stay crafting. Until next time, you beautiful, beautiful people, peace out.